NHL power plays are lethal, deadly, high scoring, and fans love to watch them. But have you ever sat there and truly wondered how power plays operate and what you should be looking for as a fan when watching any of your favorite teams in today's NHL? Well, this video is going to do just that for you. For any team in the NHL, you are going to learn how to watch power plays better, from the faceoffs to the zone entries, the breakouts, and finally the setups where we see all those lethal, impressive, and filthy goals that your favorite goal scorers put in. We are going to teach you how to watch hockey better, starting with the power play. The power play begins before the puck is ever dropped and before the first penalty is ever taken, and it starts with the coach and the GM because player choice matters. The players you have on your power play are the most important part to making that power play successful. That is because it's less structured and it's more creative. Remember, this video isn't teaching you about a specific team, it's teaching you about power plays in general. And the first general principle we think about when we think of any power play is that we want our power play to be feared. We want it to be the scariest in the league so that we can force our opponents to adjust and change their game. When teams go, "We better stay out of the box tonight, boys," that is forcing them to change the way they play the game because they are so concerned about going on the penalty kill and playing against your team's power play. But let's walk you through the 4 most common areas of a power play, starting with the face-off. Then I'm going to talk about breakouts because we have to get into the zone. Then we're going to talk about zone entry. Then we're going to talk about setup. The standard power play face-off looks a lot like a normal face-off. You got one defender or one man up high because you can run 5 forwards on a power play. You've got your second forward or defender near or close to the top of the circle. And then you have 3 players in standard positions at the hash marks and at the draw. The Winnipeg Jets are one of the best teams at winning faceoffs and scoring on the power play. They get the puck up to the top, move it down to Kyle Connor on the flank. Connor finds the back door and they're able to put it back in. We also have a second type of faceoff where we stack all 4 down low and we have 1 man up high. This setup with the Edmonton Oilers allows us to create pressure with Corey Perry going to the net and the world's best Connor McDavid being available on the wing. As the play runs through, it's a little bit of a scrum, but it ends up with Corey Perry wide open in front. And finally, sometimes faceoffs just occur in your own zone when you're on the power play, but that allows you to jump 3 players. Once again, when you've got a player like Leon Draisaitl winning draws and he's leaving it for Connor McDavid, who goes ahead and finds Evander Kane, you're going to get another grade A scoring chance. But face-offs are only half the battle. Sometimes you lose the draw and it ends up in your own zone. That's when you're going to institute your breakout. And the most common one you see here on the screen is the NHL double drop. Our player is going to proceed until he gets anywhere by the blue line or the other team's red line, ideally with 2 players following in behind him. As soon as he receives pressure from one of those penalty killers, he is going to choose to drop the puck behind him to one of his 2 options. Like the LA Kings here with Drew Doughty, who ends up carrying it into the zone, making a quick little pass to his player, and then we see that double drop initiated. The puck moves back to Doughty, and the key to the double drop is getting all of this daylight because all 4 of the Edmonton Oilers are caught flat-footed, and in the back, Doughty has nothing but time and space. That time and space allows for a crisp and simple zone entry where he gets the option to bump it to the outside, and the LA Kings can get set up. We also have this single drop where the player just drops it back to one option. So there's 4 up high near the blue line. And we also have the fake double drop where the player doesn't drop it back, looks like he's going to drop it back, but then just carries it himself with all the daylight, trapping the player that you see behind the play, making it a 3-on-3. Hey, look, sometimes speed kills. If you want to know everything there is to know about hockey, subscribe and like. Tune into this channel. Our series on how to watch hockey is going strong. The playlist is below, but you can also go to our link below. Special thanks to Coach Jack Hahn for Hockey Tactics 2025. He breaks down a lot and more of what I'm teaching you here today if you'd like to learn and study on your own. The link is down below if you want to check out his book. We also have an option that I prefer called 4 back. That's when the defender or the first person to retrieve the puck behind the net picks it up. And we actually have 3 forwards. 2 on one side, 1 on the other, that end up J-hooking or curling down low below the circle, as you see on the diagram here. 1 guy up high near the red line. This allows us to have 3 options when we are carrying out from behind our net. We don't make the pass from behind the net. We take as much time and space as we can. And as soon as we're pressured, we pass that puck. In today's NHL, the forechecker or the penalty killer normally stays with the side that's swinging 2, meaning the side that's swinging 1 is open. You see this very commonly in today's NHL. Here are the Winnipeg Jets instituting it perfectly. And what we're normally looking for here on this play is a 2-on-1. But in this case, we actually get a 1-on-1 or a 50-50 battle. The exciting part about a 1-on-1 is when a guy like Nemestikov is able to win that 1-on-1 battle, it creates so many different options. He has a pass across the center ice. He has a drop back. He also has the ability to go himself. Remember, we want to score in the first 7 seconds from entering a zone. We want to get a great shot. We see one there. So as much as we'd love to have a 2-on-1 at the line, almost every time, sometimes a 1-on-1 does give us an advantage if we take that risk. But finally, other times you got guys like Nathan MacKinnon. You just give the puck to your best player and let him dominate. The simple point of a breakout is to exit the zone with control. So make sure you as a fan are looking for those wide open passes, and more specifically, the player who has the puck, you can anticipate he is not going to make a play passing it or dropping it until a penalty killer pressures him and takes away that time and space. Our power play entry, once we get into the neutral zone, we're always focused on 4 chambers. There is no right or wrong way to enter a zone, but this play on your screen gives you the best options. You see player 1, 2, 3, and 4, whether or not they have the puck, have to remain on side, but once they cross that blue line, it's a nightmare for defenders. You are looking for any one of these players. Which one is going to go to the net? Could be 1, 2, 3, or 4. Could be 1 and 4. Could be 2 and 3. Could be any combination. There is a lot of different combinations. There's no way you're going to pick right. So that hesitation is going to cause a problem for the penalty killers. It also goes ahead and blows up the gap, creating time and space. And our options when entering the zone. The first thing we want is a scoring chance. If we fail to get a scoring chance off of our zone entry, we want to get into our power play setup. And if we fail that, then we want a chip and chase, but we better be chipping it to a place we can come out with possession. All of this happens off of the 4-chamber zone entry. And here's a great clip of the LA Kings doing just that. You can see they tag up onside. And although it's hard to see on your screen, we have 1, 2, 3, and there's actually a 4th just off the screen entering in against the Edmonton Oilers. That gives them an unbelievable option to boot to the right. And this is what I mean by we have a net drive here. We're waiting and delaying for the slot. We're going to delay up high, and now we can drive in to shoot. It causes all kinds of problems for penalty killers. They're not sure who's going where or who to pick up in the zone. But sometimes it doesn't require a fancy pass. It just requires a sick shot. Remember I said here, personnel matters? Give it to your best guy. Guentzel leaves it for Kucherov, and Kucherov does the ultimate Kuch thing. He makes a 1-on-2. This is not something you would want to do unless you're a superstar. That is why personnel matters, and not every team has a Nikita Kucherov. This 1-on-2, Kucherov wins it. He's able to get set up, but look at what he has done. He has taken 2 players with him. We now have a 4-on-2 for all intensive purposes because Kuch is that good. We entered into the zone with our 4 chambers. We pick up the puck back to Hedman. It moves over to the left side, and Guentzel buries it. You have so many options when entering with 4 players on the blue line. Look for that on your team's next power play. And if you don't have a Nikita Kucherov, your team definitely has an apex or an A-plus player on your team that is going to play that Kucherov role. Not everybody's Kucherov, but there are elite players on every NHL team. And they may just do it differently, but they're still going to gain the zone. So now that we're in the zone and we haven't gotten a scoring chance, what are we going to do? We're going to set up, and we have options for that. We have the 1-3-1. That's what we're going to go over the most today. We have the spread, the umbrella, and the overload. Let's start with the 1-3-1. Every NHL team is running this. This isn't special to just your team. So when you get down below in the comments and say, do a power play for my team, here it is. This is every team. You have a top player. You have 2 flanks on the left and on the right-hand side. Normally, they're on their off wing, meaning righties on the left side, lefties on the left side. But there is a caveat to this where you go on your strong side, left on left, right on right. We'll talk about it. We have a bumper player who's in the middle, and we have a guy who is net front. Starting with the top and working down, the top really does have 3 options. 4 if you consider skating the puck. He can pass it to his left flank. He can pass it to his right flank. And what I want you to look for is what hand he is. If he's a left-hander like he is on this diagram, he is going to prefer moving it to his right flank. That is because it's easier for him to keep his toes pointed north and south, passing across his body, than it is opening up his body going to the left. He also has a big booming shot option with a ton of screens in front. Like we see here with Evan Bouchard, Connor McDavid takes it down low, and what we're looking for when we're watching it is when we get all four guys trapped below the hash marks, you best believe that puck is going up top. Bouchard gets all of this time and space because it takes quite a long time for these guys to close the gap, and the reason they're gliding is you got to be very careful closing that gap. If you attack the top too aggressively, you leave the guys down below open. That puck goes to the top, and like I said, Bouchard has an option to go left, Bouchard has an option to go right, but in this case, he takes the option for the shot. And you know that option for a shot is going to come when you have a ton of traffic in front. We have two sticks that you can see. We have two players screening with sticks in the lane, and we have our net front guy screening the goaltender. Another easy thing to look for is look for the goaltender looking for the puck a little bit late. That puck has already left his stick. The goalie is trying to look over shoulders. That means he doesn't see it. And as such, it goes in the back of the net. We also have our flanks. These are the fun guys. This is where everybody wants to be on the power play when you are a player. You have an option to shoot, you have an option to pass, you have an option to find a back door to the net front, like we see here. Yes, there's 6 players on the ice. I'm not assuming a pulled goalie. I am assuming the net front player can either be on the left side or the right side, depending on what he feels is the best play. And for that, we go to the grade 8, Alexander Ovechkin. When your team has an elite shooter out there, they are going to be wide open. It doesn't have to just be Alexander Ovechkin. Think Laine, think Zibanejad. What you are looking for here is all 4 players to be trapped from Carolina on one side of the puck. And they are. They're all trapped on the strong side. When that occurs, you should be looking to the grade 8 or anyone in that flank position as they move the puck down low. It really gives him his option to shoot from his spot. And he is always shooting for the far side up high. In this case, he misses. He hits his teammate Tom Wilson. Wilson goes down like a sack of potatoes, but our bumper ends up moving in, creating a 2-on-1 in front of the net. Remember though, we're trying to trap them on one side so we can be open on the other. There are times though when that changes. The grade 8 is not open, and that is because Carolina has widened and moved from a box into a diamond. When we see this type of shape from our defenders, it's going to be up to guys like Alexander Ovechkin to get open and get creative. And what does he do here? Right away, we see a switch. So he ends up switching with top, and we see a switch and a drop again. Because of the setup, Alexander Ovechkin has gone from one side to the other. He's taken the long path. But remember, we always want to watch guys that don't have the puck. When the grade 8 is on the ice, everybody has to be aware of shot, and his body position here right now is showing nothing but shot. But it's going to be a disguise or a fake shot. That is because, like I said, you got to watch stick position. We have a stick that isn't on the ice, and we have a left-handed shot caught on the left side. That means he is missing a lot of space in order to take up that lane. Ovechkin knows this and sees this in a nanosecond, puts it in the back door, and we get a great scoring chance by Karlsson. We also have guys here like Leon Draisaitl who are absolute monsters on their own end. Remember, this is a left-handed shot on the right side, and he gets caught in a tough place. He should lose this battle all day. This is not what we want to see. We do not want to see a one-on-one puck battle at our own blue line. But remember, like I said, personnel matters. Draisaitl wins that battle. And here's the other reason why being a left-handed shot on the right side can be a little bit troublesome. Take a look at his stick position here. It's actually much simpler and closer for a guy to reach in and close that gap. That is simply because he is a left-handed shot on the right side. It's harder to puck protect. But watch his elbow here, because sometimes, boom, when you're a big horse of a man, you can just move him out of the way. You move it over to the top, and your team just steps in and gets a great scoring chance that ends up in a goal. Sometimes it's not about the best tactics. Sometimes it's not about doing the right thing. Sometimes it's just about being the best player. So that's what we do when we have a flank who has a right-handed shot on the left side and a left-handed shot on the right side. What do we notice as well too? Most of the plays happen on the right side of the ice. That's simply because we have more left-handed defensemen in the NHL than right-handed. Yeah, it's about an even split, but predominantly we have better left-handed defensemen than we do on the right side, so we end up playing on the right side. Just the way it goes. Now there's a new tactic in the NHL here where we put our left shots on the left side on the flank, and we put our right shots on the right side. This is because, as you see in the diagram, it is harder to defend because there is more gap. Look at the purple line. That is the distance between both players' sticks. When you have a right-handed shot, you have 3 or 4 more feet of stick length to gap, and it is just simpler to puck protect. And we see that here with Dallas. Remember, like I said, there's our left-handed defenseman, as is always the case. Yes, there are righties, but we're going to move it over to the right side where our player is a right-handed shot. So a right-handed shot takes it, and he's able to make this play because of all the gap and the distance of him being a right-handed shot. It gives us those few extra precious seconds that we need to move that puck down low to the bumper and put it in the back of the net. And every player needs to know everybody's responsibility. Take a look at this play. We just had a pass from the top, from Harley over to that right side like we saw, but we're about to see a puck fumble. What happens when we lose the puck? Oh, we're in trouble. We have to read and react to the play. So remember, we don't necessarily always want to watch the puck. We could see this happening a mile away. We call it puck support. You pick it up on the side of the wall. It's a right-handed shot on the right side. That allows for the gap that you're seeing here, and that is why it is so difficult to take the puck off of him. Dallas loves running their right-handed shots on that side. We end up moving it back to the top. It's a quick shot, and it's in the back of the net. That's coaching tactics. That's what you're looking for. So now take a look at what handedness your team is. Do you have a left-handed shot on the left side, or do you have a right-handed shot on the left side? And take a look at the handedness of your defenseman. That's probably going to tell you what side the play is going to originate on. And let's not forget, flankers don't always have to play up high. Nathan MacKinnon is famous for this, playing down low. Blink and you miss it. Cale Makar, he's that right-handed shot, that coveted shot we're looking for. So they love to move it to the left side where Nathan MacKinnon is going to play on his off wing. And now we have our 2 flanks down low. We're still in our 1-3-1. Nothing has changed here, except for the fact that MacKinnon has come down low and he has the option to shoot. But remember, we're always trying to create those soft spaces. He finds one here right in front of the crease. Bang, it's across, and it's in the back of the nets. No matter what we're doing, we are looking for soft spaces. We are looking for handedness, and we are looking for half a second of space of room. Watch the player that doesn't have the puck. Watch the penalty killers, and you're going to see your power play hum. The bumper, the hardest position to fill. It's the least attractive position. It's the position players want the least, but it is the most critical. This is where some of the best players in the world play. Guys like Jamie Benn, guys like Mark Scheifele. They may not have the name notoriety of like Nikita Kucherov or Nathan MacKinnon or Connor McDavid, but they're still critical parts of their team. And you can see the options and the thinking they have to do. They can move it anywhere to the net front. They can take a shot, or they can pass to the left side or the right side, depending on where the net front player goes to, or they can bump back out to the flanks or even back out to the top. We see that here is Jamie Benn is playing the bumper position, but what you didn't see is what he had to go through in order to get into this position. Take a look at this moment that you see right here. It's just a quick bang, horrible cross check in front of the front. Look, nobody really wants to get hit. That's why this position is harder to fill. And Jamie Benn's smart and tough. That's why he's the perfect type of player to go through there. Benn takes the hit. He stays on his feet. No whiplash for him. He's going to push it right out to Thomas Harley here at the top. And Harley's going to step in just like our top guys we talked about before and take a shot. But take a look at what he has. He has an option to Jamie Benn for a pass. He also has multiple screens in front of the net. He goes ahead and rewards Jamie Benn for that play, puts it on his stick. Benn puts it in the back of the net. Bumpers score goals. Bumpers create goals. Bumpers are tough. Bumpers are smart. And for our bumper, don't forget the play we just repurposed. Everything that goes to the middle of the ice from the net guy usually goes to the bumper, and you find points. That leaves us with one last position. That's our net front guy. He can be on the left side. He can be on the right side. He can be in the middle. But our net front player has a very important job, and some key players in the NHL take this role. The biggest one that comes to mind for me is Mikko Rantanen, Nick Ehlers for Winnipeg. These players need to be really dynamic and quick. Quick puck retrieval or unbelievable hands that do not lose the puck. That is because these are the guys that have to retrieve pucks if they don't go in. They have to do tips. They have to do deflections. They just have to be either incredible skaters or incredible with their hands, or likely both. But sometimes you're running out of choices at this point because you might have filled your flanks, your bumper, or your top with your best players. It doesn't mean your net front guy can't be your best guy. He may even be your most important. I know it's with Colorado and he's not there anymore, but he's been doing this with everybody. That puck goes down below and he ends up putting it in the back of the net because of those unbelievable hands. But remember, from this position, he's got choices. He can put it over to Nichushkin. He can try to score, which he does here, but he can also find soft spots to the zone. Because he doesn't have anyone in the bumper right now, he chooses to shoot. So every team in the NHL runs the 1-3-1 and you get there through zone entries. But there's a lot of times where you take a shot or the puck turns over and you got to get it back to get back into your 1-3-1. You do this using an overload retrieval system. And the overload can be used either as a set play or a retrieval, but the key from what you see here on the screen is that your 1-3-1 puts all three forwards or your down low guys into the corner to retrieve the puck because we always want to outnumber them. And we get two guys high, but everybody is on one side of the ice. Here we see the St. Louis Blues on the power play against the Winnipeg Jets, and they've lost possession of the puck. We're actually going to get into a 3-on-3 battle down low in order to get it. And they've strategically left a guy on the wall because the likelihood is when you're battling in the corner, that puck is going to squirt out to the wall. All three players work hard to retrieve that puck. It squirts out to the wall. They're able to move it to the top. And the criticality that we're looking for is, remember, everybody is now down low. So we move from our overload system back into our 1-3-1, and you can see that occurring. We have one guy who's going to the net. We have one guy who's popped out to the bumper. We have our guy that was our release valve who's now back to our flank, and we have one guy who has made the very long skate to the other side. The overload quickly turns into a play at the top and a quick shot from the flank, and sometimes you get really lucky and you end up getting a puck retrieval on a wide puck where you're uncontested. You don't have to get out of your 1-3-1. And from here, again, it is just a matter of soft ice. We are looking for holes and gaps in the play so we can move it to the top, or we can move it through the sticks that are in the middle, because you can see there's a few sticks that aren't down on the ice right now. They choose to move it through. And that simple little play that you saw here, a stick a little too high, right here, allows the Blues to exploit that seam and put it in the back of the net. We can also run an overload here like the champs. And the hallmark of this for Florida, and the reason they won a cup using it, is take a look at this near perfect two lines that you have Edmonton in on the penalty kill. As soon as you trap them in a line, you can move to an overload. That overload looks like it spreads out to a 1-3-1, and it does. But from the control area, they're actually going to sneak back into the overload. And the easiest way to see that when you are watching hockey is now you have three players down low in one corner. You've also trapped all of the Edmonton Oilers penalty killers in one corner. That means you're going to need to have strong puck support. It is going to be very hard to sneak a puck through penalty killers. So now you're going to have to go wide. That's why the overload is so effective. They end up doing it. It's a quick switch at the bottom, and all they're trying to do is exploit soft space. And now we are back into an overload with Aaron Ekblad coming over as puck support, and we have several options to find Ekblad. That's what this play is about. Overloads are about finding guys on the back door. They get back into a 1-3-1, and they put it in from that back door. Overload, 1-3-1, overload, 1-3-1, goal. That's why they're the champs. Any team that can switch back and forth to and from these setups so quickly are going to have success on a power play. And here is the final diagram on that overload. You can see exactly what we've summarized there. The net front goes back to the net once they gain control of the puck. The bumper gets back to his position. Both flanks retreat to their positions, and the top player skates back into the middle. But that's not all. What happens when it isn't working? Because sometimes it doesn't work. Even though every NHL team implores it, it's very hard to defend. Teams have gotten good at it. So you have to have another trick in the bag. And that trick right now is called the spread. The spread has three players down low, as you see, two players up high, and it's all about length and width. You're not trying to get tight here. You're actually trying to stay wide, and you're trying to generate shots with rebounds and backdoors. The Winnipeg Jets, who were the best team in the regular season on the power play, are using the spread here. You can see the hallmark. It's three guys down low. It's two defensemen up high, just like that. You're looking for those crisscross applesauce passes, and you're really looking to spread out defenders like they are here with St. Louis. It gets down below. They move it right back up to the point. So as it comes down, wide pass, high pass. Both of these are very difficult for a goaltender to see. That is a lot of different angle changes that you're looking for. And you can see Josh Morrissey has a soft zone here. The problem is Jordan Binnington's an elite goalie and kicks it out. They move from the spread quickly into the 1-3-1. They like to run Kyle Connor, who is a left-handed on, left-handed shot on the right side. And that gives him the option to have his stick pointed towards the middle for that lethal shot that he has. And moving from the spread, they get a quick chance. But once again, even though they have great net front presence and a great bumper, Jordan Binnington keeps it out. Hey, look, goals should go in. You want people to fear him, but sometimes people end up fearing the PK. Spread offenses usually do occur to give a different look when the 1-3-1 isn't working. And in that series of Winnipeg versus St. Louis in 2025, it wasn't working for Winnipeg. So they moved into the spread. If you see your team moving into the spread, it could be a sign of trouble that your power play isn't working, or it could just be a different look. And finally, the biggest thing to watch for your team, what does your team do when they lose the puck? How hard are they on loose pucks? Florida here is a great example. They lose this puck, and for all purposes, Toronto should have this one out of the zone. It's a 2-on-2 battle. They've gotten positioning. They've gotten positioning on Florida, but no, the puck doesn't even go high. Florida just simply wins that battle. And what are you looking at now? That's right. You're looking at a spread offense. Sometimes it's just the simplest way to get set up. Florida is able to move it in using the spread and put it in the back of the nets. Just like Winnipeg, the hallmarks of it are big, lengthy passes that you can see getting lots of gaps and lots of time and space away from the Leafs. So it can be lethal. The final one we have to talk about is the 5-on-3. You're not looking for multiple shots on the 5-on-3. You're looking for one shot. When people scream shoot of a 5-on-3, you can just hang your head in shame and know you're the one who watches Hot Garbage Sports and you have the brain to watch hockey. You are looking for one shot, the perfect shot. You are not looking to put multiple shots on net, and it's simply a box plus one from what you see up here. The puck is in the top right side, and we are trying to make that box as small as possible with tight, crisp passes to exploit that triangle that the teams are using. We want to make passes that are across the lines. We want to make passes that are north-south. We want to have a lot of switching and a lot of movement, but we do not want to let that puck leave our stick and give up possession until we have the best scoring chance possible. And here you see it with Colorado and Dallas. There's actually one challenge here. The box is too wide. Their whole goal is to get that box plus one to shrink and shrink and shrink. And the shot that you see taken on net, yep, it may be one of the best players in the world in Makar, but that isn't the shot that you want. What you're actually looking for is to get that puck down low to your bumper and then have other options to go towards the net. You don't want to be taking a shot like this. It's quick puck retrieval. The puck ends up back on Makar's stick. He's able to move it. And that's another thing you don't want to see. We don't want to see pucks going off feet. We want to see crisp passes, tape to tape. That extra second that it takes to move it through doesn't work. And you can see a little bit of frustration as they move into the 1-3-1. It can work on a 5-on-3, but it's definitely not as good. You can see Dallas has an opportunity to clear. But overall, if there's one thing I want you to take away that teams are going to do, it's that regardless of scoring or not, they need to skate off with confidence. Every team is going to tell you in the media because they truly believe it. Their coaches tell them, we are the best power play out there. If you let stuff get in your head from the media, from fans, from teammates, or from yourself, and you don't feel like you've had a good power play and you don't skate off with confidence, that will steamroll and steamroll and steamroll and build, and you will never get out of the zone. Players have to initiate swagger, and even if they don't score, they have to fake confidence because you cannot let it get in your head. It is a very dynamic position. There are so many different options, and what I have covered for you here is simply just the tip of the iceberg. It can take an entire lifetime to learn power play, and there are so many little changes such as handedness of the player, what players you have on your team, and what positions they're willing to play. Not everybody is going to play every position on a power play, but I hope I've put you in the best position as a hockey fan to watch hockey better and understand power plays better than any other channel out there. If I have, and you've been with me this long, go ahead and check out some of my other videos in the How to Watch Hockey series and give me a like and subscribe.